Hey everyone, just a quick little holster review for you today. I'm going to be going over a semi-new inside the waistband Kydex holster that I have, custom Kydex holster I should say. And for those of you who don't recognize it already, this is the PHLster skeleton model inside the waistband Kydex holster. It's made by PHLster in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think his YouTube channel name is Philly EDC. For those of you that are interested in checking out his channel, you can go ahead and do that. But anyways, this is the PHLster skeleton inside the waistband Kydex holster. Like I said, this is a pretty minimalist holster. For those of you that are looking for simple, functional, and low profile inside the waistband holster for your carry guns, this is a really good option for you. This is, like I said, it's a minimalist holster, so you know it's relatively small in size and not too bulky at all. It's primarily suited for inside the waistband holster or inside the waistband carry, and also it's really good for appendix carry for those of you that are carrying appendix nowadays and whatnot. Appendix doesn't really work too well for me, so I don't carry that way, but I do carry about 3:30, 4 o'clock position, and this holster works out really well for me. This is a Glock 19 that I've got mine for, and I believe if you order a skeleton holster from PHLster, say you have Glock 19 or a 26 or a 17, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all type deal where it'll like this holster for example will fit all 9mm Glock models, which is also an added plus. I'm going to go ahead and unholster the weapon. Yes, it's loaded, so deal with it. As you can see here, I mean, like I said before, it's real small, minimalist, fits in the palm of my hand. I don't by any means have any large hands or anything, so it gives you a good idea of how small it is. Let's do a little close-up action on it. PHLster, this holster is very, very, very well made. It has excellent definition on the features and the lines of the firearm that it's molded for. As you can see, it comes with these almost rubberized soft loops, and that's going to be obviously your method of retention for the holster itself inside the waistband. I find that to be very comfortable. They work really well. Some people complain about these soft loops because of the fact that they are directional loops. I don't know if you can really make that out on there, but let's see if I can get it to focus. But it says on the button there, it says pull the dot, and if you can see on the top there's a little indentation. Basically, what that means is these are directional snaps. So if you can picture this on your belt with your belt running through there, you go to draw the holster, the snap's not gonna open up on you. See, I'm really pulling on that hard. That snap's not gonna open up on you unless you pull it from the right direction, which is from top down. So you're gonna need to open it like that, and then mess that up, and then reverse the process to get the snap back on. And they can be finicky when you first get them. There you go. They can be finicky when you first get them. John from PHLster is aware of this, but it's one of those things, like he says, where it takes a little break-in period almost for the snaps to basically just break in a little bit, and they kind of loosen up a little bit after a while, but it's not that much of a concern or a big deal. Another cool thing, I mean, you can just tell by the edges here on the holster, everything is really smooth and rounded off. I mean, you can tell if you take a good look at all these edges here that everything's buffed down and sanded and rounded off, real nice and smooth. So you got no rough edges, no sharp edges or anything like that. They're so well finished that I mean, look at that, they're like shiny, so that's a real nice feature, and you can, like I said, it gives you a little glimpse of the amount of craftsmanship and work that goes into these holsters. Let's see what else. The retention on these is achieved through the trigger guard area. I don't know if you can see right here that little dimple right there. Can't really tell on this side, but it's in there. This area, the trigger guard right here, is where you're going to be getting your retention from. So if you go ahead and reholster the firearm, you can see that real loud audible click. That's where you're right there. That's where you're getting your retention from, where that little indentation right there engages into the trigger guard, and as you can see, that thing's not going anywhere. This is, the retention is pretty damn good on these, right from the shop. It's not coming out of there, like I said, at all. And from concealment, this is not going to come out of the holster very easily, which, for me, in my opinion, I think is a good thing. I like a good amount of retention. So for those of you guys out there who are used to, like really broken in soft Kydex soft leather holsters and whatnot, that your gun just slides in and out of there real nice and smooth and everything. This is, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that with this holster. And that's not a bad thing in my opinion. Like I said, for these types of holsters, Kydex holsters, and this PHLster holster in general, you're going to have to really grip it and rip it type deal to get that holster out of there, get that handgun out of that holster. So just be aware of that. You're really got to put a little bit of muscle in it to get it out of there. But that, like I said, it's not really a bad thing. As far as adjustments go, there is a little bit of adjustment. You can see here on the belt loop, there's a number of holes here that you can adjust for it to go, higher or lower inside the waistband. And I don't know if you can see that there, but there's a top hole and a bottom hole here where you can move the entire soft loop up and down if you, like I said, if you wanted to ride a little, excuse me, a little deeper or a little higher inside the waistband. So that's, it's a good thing. From the shop, it was adjusted at this higher point, and that was okay for me. But I just switched it out, which only took a few seconds, and moved it from the top to the bottom, so the gun would ride up a little higher in my waistband, which is a little more comfortable for me. So, like I said, only takes a few seconds to do that. But all in all, like I said, this is really excellent holster option. Bomb-proof holster so far. I mean, this it's not super thick. The Kydex itself is not super thick or anything, so it's not like real bulky, like I said, but it is thick enough and well made enough that this thing could take a hell of a lot of abuse, and you're gonna have a hard time damaging or breaking this thing. It's really, really well made. They're reasonably priced as well. I forget exactly. I think it's like 40 or 45 bucks shipped from PHLster. You can go ahead on his website. I think it's just PHLster, PHLster.com, and order these up. Like I said, his YouTube channel is Philly EDC. It's John Hauptman from PHLster Holsters. He's the guy who owns the company, and I believe he makes the holsters as well. But like I said, 45 bucks, and really good, reasonably priced option. I don't know what else to say. If you're looking for a good inside the waistband holster, this would be an excellent choice for you. and I would highly recommend checking them out. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other questions about it, feel free to ask in the comments, or like I said, just go over to PHLster page and check John and his holsters out there. Alright, thanks.